Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Always a Patriot, the John Jay Soccer Podcast. I'm Brendan Horton, joined as always by Coach Robert Seipp. Coach, how we doing?
Doing all right. 9th episode, Coach. I love it, man. We're doing this.
We're in our third month now, I think, or
Yeah,
approaching our
awesome,
third month.
awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you. You were the brains behind getting this done. Giving us the microphones and the headphones, and getting us the site to do it. So really appreciate that. It's been fun.
Google is an amazing thing.
It's true. And ChatGPT and
Yeah,
AI. Yeah. So some big news at the Seipp household this weekend.
let's hear it.
Yeah, our 6'2", 200-pound center forward, Austin Seipp, is committed to go to St. Bonaventure
Oh, that's
University. Yeah, he's going to play baseball
awesome.
for the
That's
Dodgers.
awesome.
Yep.
Division I baseball. That's huge.
Yeah. So he had some tough decisions to make. He had some offers from Marist, from Albany, from Iona, but St. Bonaventure was his choice. He just really loves the coach up there. And it's a small university about the size of John Jay, believe it or not, about 2,000 students. And they've got a very good Division I basketball team and a pretty good baseball team as well. And, the coach really likes Austin. Austin really likes him. And he got some good money for it. It cost about $60,000 to go to St. Bonnie, and he got $40,000 between some baseball money and
Wow.
some academic money.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
Any of those kids out there listening, academics is so important. It's that $40,000 scholarship is not all baseball money. It's because Austin does well in the classroom as well. So he's excited and we're excited for him. He's worked hard. 3-sport athlete at John Jay's, looking forward to the fall season. And this was definitely a weight lifted off of his shoulders to finally make that decision. And I don't think he could be happier. I think he's really happy with the school. They've got a very good business school, so he's going to be studying business. And like I said, he just really took to the coach. It looks like the coach really took to him. So we're excited here. So we're headed upstate for the next couple of years. Mrs. Seipp and I, Landon up at Herkimer and Austin up at St. Bonaventure. So we're going to upstate New York to follow our boys continuing to play baseball.
That's great, man. Congratulations to him and you and Mrs. Seipp, your whole family. I think that's so great. Austin's a great kid and he deserves it. He really deserves it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And he's looking forward to the soccer season too. So he was at baseball tonight. When I got home, first question, how'd we do? How'd we do in the playoffs? So we opened up the playoffs this week. But before we talk about that, I think we got to go back in order, right? So last Sunday we were at Lakeland playing against Carmel. Hot.
Yeah.
That was
hot day. It was brutally hot that day. It was a day where it wasn't super hot throughout the day, but when I got to Lakeland, it was just you step out of the car and I was like, oh my God. So it was brutally hot. I think Carmel had maybe one sub. I think we had 3. It was a hot one. And you could tell by the end of the game that the guys were definitely dragging a little bit. But we won 3-0. We played pretty well. We scored on 2 corners, headers off of corners. Both were played in by Martin Caceres. The goals off the headers were scored by Uriel Bachwe and Darren Graveline, which was great. And then we had Julian Lurs scored the 3rd goal after Michael Versace got the ball out wide, centered the ball, and he was able to stick it in the back of the net. So we won 3-0.
I'll tell you what, Martin has been really good playing balls in, right? I mean,
he has,
corner kicks. He's been really good, and Michael Versace has done a great job out wide too. I know tonight I was very impressed in the Lakeland playoff game. He had isolated a guy out wide. He did a little scissor, faking like he was going inside, took the ball out wide and whipped in a nice cross. So that was good to hear last Sunday in a very hot game against Carmel that we were able to come away with 3-0 victory. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was good. And one of the things I talked about during the game with the guys was we had really good possession in our defensive half and in our defensive third, and we really kept it nice. But we were struggling in the first half to get the ball and really dictate play in the attacking half. And we were kind of going negative a lot. So I talked to them at halftime again in that brief little time about, guys, do you remember the Winter League, our winter soccer program, when we play our small-sided games? Like, what's the first thing you have to do? Is you have to get it over midfield, right? Like, I'm like, guys, I love that we can knock it around, but at some point we have to play progressive balls. So in the second half, they did a better job, and some of our overall possession suffered, but we were able to be a little bit more dangerous and go forward from there. Even though we didn't concede, though, we scored 2 goals on corners, which is great. Our defending of corners was so sloppy, and not even just sloppy. Like we couldn't get ahead on the ball. If they took 5 or 6 corners or long throw-ins, maybe we got a head or a goalkeeper fist on one of them. And that's another thing I talked to them at halftime was like, I know we haven't really broken down how we defend them zonally and stuff like that, but you just need to be tough,
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, be a man, some people get upset at that phrasing, but like I said, you just gotta if the guy is standing right next to you and he gets his head on the ball and you don't,
Problem.
that's on you,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't want to look at anyone else, right? It's you. And the same thing comes when we defend zonally, right? If a guy gets his head on the ball in your zone,
Right.
I'm looking at you.
Right. Right. Yeah, so just going back to that possession first, it's got to be with the purpose, right? And that's been a problem in our program for years is that we are really good at keeping possession, but it's got to be with a purpose. So that's why we instituted that rule a couple years ago in our winter league. Before you score, you have to get the ball over midfield. That is, first and foremost. And then secondly, in the winter league, we say you got to string 5 passes together before you can score. So we love the possession. We want the possession, but it's got to be with a purpose and it's got to be so that we create quality chances at goal. It can't just be to pass the ball around in front of our own goal because God forbid we make a mistake. Whoops, it's 1-0 the other team. So got to be with the purpose, that possession.
Yeah, and it's a work in progress, but to play that way and still come away 3-0 is a good thing, I guess. Though it seems to be kind of a resounding theme throughout the summer that I've noticed is we come away with good results and don't necessarily play great, which is a little bit concerning. But like I said, it's still July, so we have certainly time to work things out.
I'll tell you what, I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember the last time we beat Carmel. I'll be honest. They've beaten us and tied us a lot in the summer league during the regular season. So to beat them 3-0, coach, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
That's
we've
well done.
absolutely struggled against them, and we open up this fall against them. So hopefully, it's a sign of things to come. And I've said, and we've said in the past, like I'll take a 3-0 win, not playing well, versus losing 2-0, not playing well. So at the end of the day, I guess they were able to get it done and get the result, and we can work on the process as we have more time.
Yeah, so true. All right, and then on Monday we went to Ossining,
Yep,
played
we went.
against Linebrook.
Yep, we won 2-0. We had goals from Logan Matthews and Lucas Reverso, who Lucas has just played awesome this summer. He's had a great summer.
Yes.
Really, really broken out. I remember last year we had offered him, talked to him after the tryout process and said, would you like to come play on the varsity team? We really don't think you'll play, or you can go down to the JV team and really play a ton and be the guy. And he opted to go down. And watching some of the JV games, he was up, he was down, he was a little bit so, but he looks just great. He is dangerous. He is working defensively. He is working smart, and just really kudos to him for the summer that he's having, because he's really shown me, and I'm sure you, something that he's going to be a guy who's going to see the field and play for us in the fall.
Yeah, he's good. Lucas is really good, and I know I was telling you, as we came into the summer, he had a really good basketball season as well. He, again, was a sophomore playing on the JV team, but, he's a good basketball player. He's a good athlete. Yeah, he's had a really good summer for us. He's good.
Yeah,
And again, both of those goals assisted by Martine, by the way. Again,
yeah, yep, that's right.
those are
Martin
great
with both the
calls.
assists. Yeah,
Yeah,
Martin, another guy who we can't say enough good things about.
yeah,
He's had a
yeah,
great summer.
he really has.
But yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that game against Blindbrook. It was 1-0 at halftime, and we were definitely a better side than them. And it was another instance where it was like we kind of were playing down. We were playing slow. We were playing kind of lethargic. They I think, again, I talked about maybe a month ago, they think it's playing composed, and it's just playing slow. There was very little oomph to get going forward, and I hear at halftime from the players like, well, how are we not killing these guys? And I've been coaching here with you for 11 years, and I said to the guys, like, if there's one thing I know about you guys, it's that you guys can talk a big game, but when push comes to shove, right, like, if you're up 1-0 on this team and we didn't have a great goal or a great chance, like, I don't want to hear about how good you are, right? Because if you were that good, you'd just be dominating and killing them, and you aren't. So it's time to either kind of put up or shut up, right? Like it, I don't know. I'm just tired of our guys constantly talking about how great they are and then coming out and laying eggs against quality opponents or not dominating teams that they should dominate.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why that is. I don't know if that's, sometimes our players will say on the field, you've got time," and you could see when somebody hears that, they just their shoulders drop and they're like you said,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like vacation time, and
Yeah.
I've really discouraged that from players saying like, "You've got time," just say, "Turn, take the space, take it at them. Don't take your time." And I understand. I did it as a kid, and I totally understand. I'm glad guys are talking to each other and telling each other, hey, you've got some time, but yeah, you have to continue to be aggressive, and you have to take the ball forward and take that space. And the fact that you have time, don't give the opposing team time to organize defensively. I mean, they are not organized defensively. That's why you have some time. That's why you're wide open. They've obviously missed some sort of an assignment. Let's take advantage of it immediately. Don't give them 2 or 3 seconds, to get themselves organized while you're taking 2 or 3 seconds to just relax a little bit.
Right. You have time to do something dangerous, not to
Yeah,
stand
yeah,
still.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I don't know, but when you played for me, coach, the killer instinct in the players that we had on those teams, especially that state championship team, but even teams before that and after that, I mean, we had a killer instinct where we really took that ball forward and went to goal and tried to create quality chances to score all the time. And I almost felt like I was a different coach back then. I was like pulling guys back. I was like, easy, we can go square sometimes, we can go back sometimes, we don't always have to force the ball forward. But now it seems like our guys, never force the ball forward, and when they do have time to go forward, they're playing square or playing back, and just not being as aggressive as they could. And listen, maybe it's my fault for discouraging them from fouling, but we've talked about the difference between fouling and being aggressive, right? We want our guys to be aggressive, but we don't want them to be stupid. We don't want them diving in. We don't want them grabbing guys. We don't want them tripping guys. And we've talked to our players over and over again, aggressive play wins high school soccer games. It's not necessarily who's got the most talent, because I know you and I have been frustrated at half times and after games for the last 11 years saying, man, we've got more skill than that team, but guess what? They just beat us 3-1, and it's just because we're just not aggressive enough.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a mentality when I was playing for you that we wanted to step on the throats of everybody and just crush them. And listen, we talked as much as anyone back then, but I feel like there was definitely this mentality where we were going to show up and beat the brakes off you too. And I don't know. It's different for sure. The game is different and kids are different and stuff, but I want to see it more. I want to see our guys let the scoreboard talk for you, right? And that's what I try and tell them, right? You want to talk, you want to ba 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 ba. When it's 3-0, 4-0, that's all the talking that needed to be done, right? But you can't be on the wrong end of a 2-0 loss and jabbering like that's not how it works.
Right. Right. So true. So true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's like a sign of the times. I don't think like you and I are old guys remembering the past, because other teams take it to us, right? I mean, we play Somers, we play Yorktown. I mean, these teams just get after Arlington, and a very aggressive team. So I don't think it's like, oh, kids in general are different today. It's just our program, for whatever reason, doesn't have that killer instinct, like you were saying before, to just go after teams and just to get a quick 3-4 goal lead. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but that's the problem we had tonight in a playoff game. We're completely dominating the game, but we're only up 1-0. And not to spoil it, but it didn't go too well, right?
Yeah,
When you don't have that killer instinct.
right. Absolutely.
But again, not to get ahead of ourselves. So then, so we did win that one 2-0 against Pinebrook. So we're complainers, coach. We won Sunday at Lakeland 3
Yeah,
nothing
I
against
know.
Carmel. We won Monday at Osning 2-0 against Pinebrook, and we're complaining. And then Tuesday, so I don't know what I said there, but Sunday at Lakeland we beat Carmel 3-0. Monday at Osning we beat Blindbrook 2-0. And then Tuesday, we finished up our regular season at Lakeland against Ketchum, right?
Yep. And Coach Fulton coached that game. Neither of us were able to be there. We won 3-2. It was 2-2 at halftime. You're never going to believe this, coach. We conceded a penalty. We had a foul in the box. And then our other goal for Coach Fulton was the result of, and you're going to love this because we've never talked about it on this show, a bad pass back, a bad negative ball. Played in our defensive third, and we conceded 2 goals and had trouble coming away with a victory against a team, again, that we should be handling with some sort of capacity. So, again, even though we're getting these results, the process concerns me because we had a really good summer last summer, right? We won the Ossining League and we played what we thought was pretty well, or at least we were getting results. But when it came down to brass tacks in the fall, it just wasn't happening because you're playing more consistently against quality teams. You're playing against, we're a big school, we're playing against big schools where you're getting everyone's best. People aren't away on vacation or unable to come to a game or anything like that. So again, I don't want people to think we're just being negative, but I'm definitely concerned about some of the warts, I guess, that we see.
Yeah, and if our players are listening, that this is why we complain about those back passes when there's no need to make a back pass. Now, I we weren't at the game, but a lot of times our players have the tendency to, for whatever reason, just default to going backward. Well, I know the reason, right? And you know the reason. It's easy, right? I mean, teams are usually trying to prevent us from going forward. So of course it's easy to play a ball square or to play it back, but sometimes there's just no need for it. Sometimes there's a need for it, but if there's no need for it, you can't go playing those balls back because bad things can happen. Sometimes bad things can happen when you do that. And then the fouls, especially in the box. I mean, I don't want to bore people, but just for whatever reason drives me crazy. I think we spent a lot of time in it last week. Put your arms behind your back so that there's no handballs, and do not make contact in the box. That's my own personal philosophy. Um,
Do
you
you
know,
know who was defending that way tonight that I picked up on in our game? Win Boscarino, all right. When
it's
they were
unbelievable.
around the
What a
edge of
player!
our box,
What a player!
he had those hands behind his back, and I'd never seen him do that before. I've seen a lot of our players, like Connor Fulton, used to defend that way all the time, but I saw Win doing that, and I like to think it's because he's listening and trying to do what we want, because he's a great kid and a
He's a
fantastic
smart
player.
player, though. He may
Yeah.
not even be listening. He's just a smart player, and he just understands, you know what? I'm in the box. God forbid if I get called for handball. And it could be unintentional, but that ball pops up. And we talked about giving the referees an opportunity to make an impact on the game. You just don't want to give them that chance. So if the ball doesn't hit your hand, they don't have a chance to call a handball. If you don't make contact with someone, they don't have a chance to call a foul. If you're just staying goal side and as they go to shoot, you're looking to block the shot, or as they go to, make a pass, you're looking to block that pass, or you're just staying goal side so that they can't get by you. And on a breakaway, it just makes it so much more difficult for the opposing team to score. But yeah, we haven't learned that lesson, so we almost lost, right? We did win the game 3-2.
Yeah, but it was 2-2 at
Yeah,
halftime, and just a back and forth game that really didn't need to be back and forth.
yeah, yeah. And really appreciate Coach Fulton, bailing us both out there. We were both not able to make it, so Coach Fulton's absolutely awesome, and that concluded the regular season. 13 wins, 2 losses, and 5 ties, right across
Right, and
both summer leagues. So
you
the
look at
results were
that.
there.
Yeah, you look at that and you think, wow, he must be playing really good soccer. And at times we are, and some guys are, and certain things are really good. And we've been very complimentary of the progress we've made and just how coachable these guys are and stuff like that. But I just don't want to put the cart before the horse. And we're always going to be this way, trying to improve and get better. It's not just us being negative. It's that we know what lies ahead, and we want to try and mitigate as much of this as possible so that we have a productive and good fall season.
And I think we are really good about telling our players, listen, when we are making these corrections or giving you guys advice or complaining about all these things, it's because we think you are such good soccer players. If we didn't think that you had the capability to be really good soccer players and to play really good soccer and to make really good decisions, we wouldn't be so hard on you. We would just clap and say, hey, great job. You're doing a great job out there. And we have so many very good soccer players, but they can be even better. And that's for whatever reason, you and I have just always been driven just to make these kids even better than they already are. So we're very thankful to be at at a school with such a rich soccer history, and the East Fishkill Soccer Club does such a good job from, 2 and 3 years old. Your daughter's in the program now, they just feed us amazing soccer players year after year. And as good as they are, they can be better. So that this is not,
It,
us
it,
complaining and us being negative. It's just, you guys are really good, but you can be even better.
yeah, I'm sure there's other coaches who may be listening, just thinking that these are champagne problems, and I understand that, right? And that's fine. We do have quality soccer players, but we want to make them even better. We want to get those guys who have aspirations of playing collegiately and beyond that, and prepare them as much as we can, and just to play what we feel is the right way. I feel like there's a way to play and a way not to play. And I'll never forget just a real quick story. After my last year when I was coaching at Panis, I was frustrated. And the athletic director, we had like our postseason meeting. And he said something to the effect of, well, why don't you just ask them to do less? Why don't you just have them boot the ball up the field and stuff like that? And I said, I can't do that. Like it may be what they're able to do, but I can't do that. Anyone can come here and do that. And it's what made me ultimately say, like, maybe I'm not your guy, and then reach out to you about joining on with you.
Right.
It was what it was you had won the section title, and I was just trying to front run. I was just,
No.
trying to get in while the getting was good.
No, listen, I've told you this, and I've told Coach Fulton, you guys saved my coaching career, because I had done it from '98, even before I got to Jay. I can't ever remember having an assistant, and then I got to Jay in '98 and coached from '98 to 2013 by myself, and I really didn't know any difference because I had just always sort of coached by myself. There weren't assistants. I was burnt. I mean, I was burnt out, and just the interactions with the players, and you're always having those interaction with the players, and you never get to have an interaction with an adult saying, hey, what do you think, and for Coach Fulton to join me in 2014 and you to join me in 2015 just totally saved me, just reinvigorated my desire to keep coaching. And we've talked about it. I'm 56 years old, 31 years in New York State. I don't want to retire. I've got no interest because I love it. I love coaching with you. I love coach with Brian Fulton. I love coaching with Coach Axelson. And I just think, like you say, with your players, it's about meeting your players where they're at and then just trying to make them better. I coach the boys basketball team at John Jay, and we're not focused on state championships just because we're not at that level. But still, I try to take those players and make them better. Quick little story for you. One of the first clinics I ever went to as a young coach was up at Hamilton College with Remy Hewen. Remember Remy Hewen? Was he
I
your
do.
coach?
He was my JV coach. Yeah,
Great guy.
love Remy, an amazing man.
Yes, really, really was. And he sort of took me under his wing, and I was a young coach, and he took me up to Hamilton College for a coaching clinic. This guy Trevor Adair, I think he was the Brown coach or maybe the University of South Carolina coach, but he's a fantastic coach. This is again going back in probably the early '90s, and Trevor Adair was running a session with a group of kids. And at the end of the session, I was like so impressed, like, wow, this guy's such a great coach. And I remember saying to Remy, like, what a shame. The players he's working with are so bad. Like, I wish we could see his Brown University team or his Southern or South Carolina team. I forget where he was coaching at the time. And Remy said something to me that still to this day I've not forgotten. And he said, quite the opposite, Rob, quite the opposite. He said, look at what Trevor Adair is doing with those players. So what? They're not good. He is making those players better. So he's taking them wherever they're at a level 2, and he's raising their level to a level 3, or he's taking them at a level 5 and raising them to a level 6. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but it always has. And that's, to me, is what coaching is about. It's not about what your record is. That's why we're not happy with our record, right? 13, 2, and 5. We're like, because there's things that we can do to make our players better. And that's, in my opinion, is what coaching is all about, and we've got some really good players this year that are receptive to it. We've had players in the past that haven't been so receptive to our coaching, but players this year have been really receptive to, listening to us and sort of taking our advice and hopefully, becoming better players as a result of it. So yeah, in my mind, that's coaching, not like, I'll just boot the ball down the field and chase after it. Like you say, anybody could do that. And that's not really coaching. You're just sort of managing a kickball game, I suppose, right? Coaching is taking players where they're at and just making them a little bit better. And maybe you and I are a little too over focused on making them a lot better, but we're motivated and we're into it. And I think the kids know that and that they appreciate that.
Yeah, I want them to be as good as they think they are and say they are. That's all. All right.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, so tonight we just got back from Lakeland in the first round of the Lakeland League playoffs where we played Rye. So we were the fourth seed in our group, and Rye, there's two groups of eight in the Lakeland League. If you're unfamiliar with this, Coach Horahan does an amazing job with this league, and we were the fourth seed in our group, and Rye was the fifth finished place in their group. So we were the home team, and how'd the game go, Coach? What'd you think?
So there, as with everything, like there were things we did well and the things we didn't do well, things we wanted to address. I thought that in the first half we had really good possession. We
We did.
kept it.
Yeah.
I think, and it's been similar throughout the rest of the summer. We've struggled in the final third. You
Yeah.
know, we've struggled to keep the ball and to be dangerous in that final third. And guys are not. They're not trying to break guys down and go 1v1, especially in the box, right? Like I think this is why we're not earning penalty kicks,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you're not forcing defenders to act in the box. And we did towards the end of the game where Michael Versace got a ball at the top of the box. He scissored, he dribbled into the box. He got killed, and we weren't awarded it, but it's, you know, that's a +1 for it. But we need those guys who are so good and dangerous with the ball, like we've talked about. When we get into the final third, that's when we need to be dangerous,
Yeah.
not in the middle third, not in our defensive third, but you know, we've got to keep that composure and not, I don't know. It's just there's something in the final third that's not clicking.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think you make a great point because I thought we did have really good possession, especially in that first half, and our goal came from defending, right? It came from us putting the opposing team under pressure, and they coughed it up. And Sean made a pass to who did he make the pass to?
so
Martin,
Martine,
yeah,
yeah.
and Martin scored. But the overall point, I think, is we had good possession, but that possession didn't result in us creating a goal for ourselves or even creating a great chance where the goalie had to make a diving save or we hit the crossbar. And for what that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Possession is great, but it's got to be with a purpose and it's got to be to create good chances in that final third of the field. And we're definitely struggling to do that because, again, tonight, I can't emphasize it enough. We had really good possession. And the one goal we scored was from us putting the opposing team under pressure defensively. So, even with that good possession, for whatever reason, it's not translating into us creating quality chances at goal.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. And it's something that we've got to continue to just work on because I think if we can get that going, then we'll really be humming,
Yeah.
you know, in possession.
Yeah.
But and it's not like the individual players up there played bad. You know, Sean's played well,
Yeah.
Justin's played
Yeah.
well, Martine, we've talked about playing well all summer.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of just making it gel and work, and I think just giving us a lot of reps in that, and seeing if we can get more comfortable in that final
Yeah.
third. I think there's an element of panic or nerves that get, you know, some players when they're up there, and we've got to break them down and figure it out.
Yeah, and I think it's taking that possession, but being aggressive, like we were talking about with the teams back when you played, just being aggressive and going at goal and taking guys on and trying to get in the box and then trying to draw something or trying to create a quality chance. Because again, we love possession. You and I love skill, we love possession, but it's got to result in something. It's got to create good chances for us to score. And for whatever reason, we're just not able to do that. And we were up 1-0 at halftime. And what do we say to the guys going out in the second half?
Ye-
Let's get the second goal. Let's
Yeah.
put this game away because these guys are still in it. 1-0. Anybody's in it. And what did we do to start the second half? Talk to me, coach. What did we do?
We came out kind of flat. You know, the first 5-8 minutes of that half were very back and forth, and really not us asserting any level of control or dominance in the game. And we just let them hang around. And
And was there any color that is in your mind right now? Maybe a yellow
yeah, I mean,
color?
we came out almost a little too aggressive, fouling, and we had a player get a yellow card from just uh, I think he committed 3 fouls in the first
Yeah.
4 minutes of the
Yeah.
second half, and just allowed them to have free kicks, and then he had a yellow card. I mean, he was able to get back out and play great the rest of the way, but what we need to do is kind of harness that intensity and have it be controlled and targeted and pointed so that it's effective the way that it was the rest of the half.
Yeah, it's frustrating too because even when he committed the second or third foul, the referee even went after he blew the whistle, he went to him like, "Calm down." He didn't say anything, but just calm down. And I think we yelled out like, "You've committed too many fouls. Now you're on the referee's radar. Like, why can't we just play soccer? Why can't we just focus on creating good chances at scoring?" And we can't. And even after that, even after the referee said, "Calm down," and we said, "Hey, you're committing too many fouls." 30 seconds later, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 2 minutes later, another foul results in a yellow card. And then that player who's one of the best players on our team has to come off. So I mean, it's again, we are not complaining, but because we eventually won the game at PKs, right? So Rye came back and Rye scored a goal with like 30
50,
seconds to
yeah,
go.
50,
Yeah.
40 seconds, something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
just a ball that got headed in the wrong direction, and we got beat on a foot race, and suddenly you're 1-1.
Yeah.
When if you just came out on the first 5 minutes and put a ball in the back of the net, you'd have had 20 minutes of,
Yeah. Now
you
you could
know,
play keep away. Now you could play keep
yeah,
away.
yeah, you would have buried them, and that's what I think a lot of, and not even just when I was there, but like when brother was there, and I think the years after I graduated, we could bury teams.
Yeah.
You could put
Yeah.
them away, put games away, and really most of the 10, 11 years I've been here, we've struggled to put teams away.
Yeah.
And
And
just
definitely tonight. Yeah. That was a problem tonight. Definitely. Yeah.
and I remember the guys who played a lot felt like a responsibility to do it and do it early so that those guys at the end of the bench could get some playing time. Like it was a,
Right.
a personal goal to let those guys get in the game. Like, let's go out and not win 3-0. Let's be up 3-0 25 minutes in and let those guys play,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I'll tell you a crazy story. This is an embarrassing story to tell, but I'll tell you, I don't think you were playing for me at this point, but maybe you were. I believe it was my first year at John Jay, and we were on the grass soccer field, and I forget who we were playing, but we had started the game. First 10 minutes, I was not happy with our play at all. And we were dominating the game, but just not happy. And I subbed off every single field player. I put 10 guys up at midfield. And I remember Mr. Knickerbocker, who was the AD, watching this, and after the game saying to me, like, "What are you doing?" And I wanted to say to him, "I'm a nut job. I'm a young coach. This is what we do as young coaches."
Making a
But
point.
right, but I was so unhappy, and I put all 10 players, I turned to the bench. I'm like, "Let's go. You 10 guys get in there. You guys better play hard." And they were shocked too. They're like, "What are you talking about? 10 minutes into the game, we're all going in." And I had subbed all the field players out and I walked them down to the corner flag. I wouldn't even let them go to the bench to get a water break. Walked them down to the corner flag and I laid into them like, "This is unacceptable." I mean, just the way we're coming out, the way we're playing. And coach, to your point, I remember putting them back in the game and woo, what a difference. I can't remember the result, but I'm not going to say we won the game 5 or 6-0 because, the message had been sent to those guys. And like you said, that was very unlike them. That usually wasn't the case. But for whatever reason, we're like, maybe we got to do that. Maybe we got to sub out all 10
Yeah.
guys.
Listen,
We didn't have those subs tonight.
yeah, listen, sitting guys is definitely a huge motivator.
Yeah,
Probably the single
yeah,
biggest motivator is getting time on the field. So I think it's something where if guys aren't doing what we want, then we'll just continue to search for guys who will, and it may result in like what you would consider a less talented or less technical player on the field, but at least they're trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. I had sent a message to, I think, a couple of the guys, or maybe a bunch of the guys, a week or two ago, that we all need to be rowing in the same direction, right? Like if
yeah,
we are all on this boat together and you and I and 8 guys are rowing in one direction and one guy's rowing this way and 2 other guys, we're not going anywhere, right? We're just not. It's just not it's not going to work. And we've talked on previous episodes about the need to do that and how we have a group that we think we can do it with this year, right?
yeah,
Guys are really receptive and open. We just need to make sure they're doing it. And even if it's something that you're not being asked to do by your club coach, or it's a role that you're not playing on your club team or something, like, this is what we need you to do. And interestingly enough, before our game tonight, there was Lakeland was out scrimmaging, and I always like to eavesdrop, obviously. So I was listening to Coach Becker talk to the Lakeland players on the sidelines, and just the verbiage and the way that he describes it's just the same thing as us, and it's reinforcing. It feels good. He was talking to the guys like, what's this guy's role right now? What's his responsibility? What is this guy supposed to be doing? Just breaking it down that exact way. Like, I need this player to do this right now. Like, where should this guy be? And it was great. And I was like, oh wow, they're the same exact conversations that we're having with our players. Where I think there was a situation in the second half where we had put Dom in at defensive midfielder, and he took the ball and carried it forward, and he ended up losing it.
Yeah.
And I just like, I think I yelled out, I was like, Dom, that's not what your job is, right?
Right.
Like, your job is not to get the ball in the middle of the field and beat someone on the dribble. Like, it's just, I would love for our center forward to do that in the final third, but like,
Right.
that's not your job. It's never going to be your job. And it's not just you, whoever's in that spot, it's not something that's asked of them. And I think we just need to get, I mean, we've been clear, but we need to continue to reinforce that, I guess, to make the message even clearer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I do remember that with Dom. He had some time and he had some space, so it was a good idea to bring the ball forward. But you got to bring the ball forward in control. And once you're begin to get pressured, you got to move that ball to somebody who's in a better position and they've got more space. Maybe the guys out wide, or the center attacking mids, or the center forward. Somebody that's in a better position to take a guy on 1v1. Um, but
And that's not to be critical, right? I'm not, I mean, listen, everyone's making mistakes all over the field.
yeah,
It's just something that came to mind and happened to be in line with what I'm talking about, right? Like,
yeah,
our center forward has a very specific role and job that we need from them. Our attacking mids have a very specific role and job, and it's very different from the center forward. So if you hear us telling the center forward to do something and then you go and try and do that, probably not the right thing, right? Unless it's something very, very fundamental. We have very, very specific roles for our wide players. We're telling them very different things than we're telling our defensive midfielders. So it's just being comfortable in the role that you're playing. And for some guys, multiple roles who kind of see different places on the field.
yeah.
But
And that is Dom, right? We use
it
Dom in the
is.
back, and then we
Yeah.
use Dom in the midfield too. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
tough on guys. We definitely recognize that. So let's finish up this game. So we're in the Lakeland playoffs. We want to win this league, right? It's the first round. We're up 1-0, controlling the game the entire game. Less than a minute to go, they score, so they tie it up 1-1. We go straight to PKs, right? Because there's no overtime at this point in the summer league. And Nicky Nasso came up big for us, right?
Yeah.
Two
The
PK
first two.
saves, the first two saves. Yeah. So they shot first. I don't know who won the toss because Coach Horahan came up to us and asked us
Yeah.
about
I
that.
don't know.
I think we probably had won the toss because I think he had said, "You're the home team, so you got to decide." How come you guys decided to let Rye kick first? And I said to him, I always leave that up to the players, whatever they're most comfortable with. But you said, I want to kick first. And so did he.
Yeah, if it
Um,
were up to
yeah,
me, I would. I like. I mean, a penalty is a very high percentage conversion rate. It's like 79% or something like that. So if you can come up there and have a 4 out of 5 shot of burying it in the back of the net and then putting the pressure on the other team, I want that. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. So I thought Nicky was great, right? He made the first two saves, and we scored our first two PKs. So after two rounds, we were up 2-0, and then the third Rise shot, Nicky came,
Yeah,
in
he went
his
the right
way and
way, and
tried saving it again. Yeah,
it
he
was
almost was 3 for 3. Yeah,
reminiscent of the Gold Cup
yeah,
penalties.
that's right.
Going the right
Right,
way and
that's
just not
right.
getting it to his tips.
Yeah. Yeah. So he played great, and we put 4 players up there. All 4 players scored, right? So we won that PK 4-2, and we advance. When do we play next? Friday night
Friday
against
night at eight
Yorktown,
eight
probably.
o'clock against
Yeah.
Yorktown. Yep.
Nice prime time, and Yorktown's the number 1 seed. So I mean, this will be a great game and a great test for our guys. So
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
they're good, and I'm really looking forward to that game because it's an opportunity for those little warts and those issues we're talking about to really come through. A team like Yorktown's going to punish you for
Yeah,
those things.
big shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and sometimes that's the best way to learn.
yeah,
When if you're 16 years old and your coach is barking at you that this is going wrong, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, and you win 3-0,
right,
it's not necessarily as impactful as
right.
when you're punished on the scoreboard where it matters. So, not that I'm wishing that. I hope we come out and play great, but just from a learning perspective, it'll be a good opportunity to see kind of where we're at with the
Yeah.
guys.
Yep, it always is the playoffs. It's a little bit more intense than the regular season summer league. So it's fun to be a part of. Then tomorrow we're at Ossining for the quarterfinals, right? What
Yep.
time is that game? Do you
I think
know?
it's
Monday?
7:30.
Okay.
I think it's 7:30 against Hastings. Almost positive.
Okay. And
All
then
right.
assuming we win that or hoping that we win that, the semifinals are on Wednesday at
Yep.
Austin, right?
And then the finals are on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, the next day, yeah.
Yep. So we'll have one way or another finished the Ossining League before our next Lakeland quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
So Ossining Monday, and then if we win Wednesday, and then if we win Thursday.
Thursday.
So if we're in the finals there on Thursday, we won't be able to have practice at J on Thursday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if we if we don't make the finals, then we'll run that practice Thursday at J, and then Friday we go back to Lakeland for the quarterfinals, like you said, 8 o'clock against Yorktown. And then if we can win that one, the semis and finals are both on Sunday afternoon/evening, August 3rd at Lakeland.
So yeah,
Always fun to be a part of. So keep
it's
your
all
fingers crossed for us.
all coming to a close in the
Yeah.
next week, and then Monday we start our 8 to 9:30 trainings for the next 3-4 weeks leading up to tryouts.
Yeah. Yeah. And being a part of this league, the Ossining League and the Lakeland League, we've won each league only once, right? So we'll see what we can do this week. Fingers crossed that we could play some good soccer and have some good results. So
Yeah, that's all. Again, play
look forward
good
to it.
and
Yeah.
continue to show progress. That's
Yeah.
that's what we like. And guys really have. They really have. I know there was a lot of almost like complaining, but it is definitely not lost the fact that between the first, second week in June when we first were coming out training through now, there's just been so much progress made with so many players, and we've had 8 episodes prior to this where we've referenced them all. So not necessarily to rehash them again, but it's really, really good the progress that we've made. And we have another month before tryouts. We have another 6 weeks before our first regular season game. So I'm certain that we'll be able to iron some of these things out before that first game against Carmel on the 4th or 6th, or whatever it is of
Yeah,
September.
September 6th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been fun this summer. I mean, it really has. Thank you for coaching with me. And we thank all the players that we've got in our program that came out and
Yeah,
played with
I
us.
think
It's
it was
been a lot of fun.
44 guys or something like
Wow.
that. It's just
Wow.
really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
So many guys and really guys at different ability levels and different comfort levels all coming out and playing. It's been good. And I think that guys at all levels have really made some progress and improved. It's like you had said, that's what we're here for, to
Yeah.
try and take one thing and elevate it a little bit further.
Yeah. And have some fun with the game of soccer, right? And as we get into the later weeks of August, it becomes just heartbreaking for us to, then we can't take the 44 guys, right? We've got to make cuts. So it always becomes so difficult. But we won't talk about that now, because it's been fun coaching those 44 guys and having a good time watching them play and helping them grow, giving them feedback. And like we said, they've been really, really receptive. So we'll see how this week of playoffs go, and we'll talk about it next week, Coach.
Yeah, by the next episode, everything will be all the die will be cast, and we'll either be here in jovial spirits or we'll be here crying for 45 minutes. And either way, it'll be a good listen, I hope. So that'll wrap it up for tonight. Like you said, next week we'll talk the rest of the playoffs and then talk about what we have planned for the rest of the summer leading up to tryouts. It's been fantastic, and as always, thank you so much for joining me here, Coach. We'll talk soon, and we will see everyone, or everyone will see us hopefully next week.
Love it.
All
Yep.
right.
Have a good week.
All right.
Take
You
care.
too. Bye
Yep.
bye.